You know, America is not a country that I recognize anymore. It's not at all. It's not at all. You know, I was born obviously in America. You know, I was born in Texas, 1968. And, you know, I just remember a time when things just seemed much better. It just seemed better. And that doesn't mean it was better. It just seemed better, you know. Growing up, you know, one of the things I can recall is, you know, there was a lot of respect for things that we don't have respect for today. And one being, you know, the office of the presidency, office of the presidency. You know, before growing up, man, especially through my younger school years, you know, the president stood as somebody who was almost like a voice for America on the world stage. It was an ambassador for America. And they were expected to act a certain way. They were expected to act a certain way. They were not cursing and, you know, causing all this controversy. They were just, you know, they were putting America's interests first. America's interests first. And, you know, I remember a time when, as a youngster, you know, a lot of people felt that the president was like the goal of any young person, try to be the next president of the United States, because it had that much respect and that much, you know, how can I put it? It represented the best in America. Let's say that it represented the best in America, and I can't say that today. I cannot say that today. You know, growing up, the president, you know, when they spoke with authority. They were very clear in what they were saying. They didn't go around, you know, inciting wars and all this type of stuff. It doesn't mean that wars were not happening, but the president was not, you know, vocally saying, you know, they want to go and wipe out other nations and things like that. That was unheard of back then. It was unheard of. And so I think the office of the presidency, it was just more respected back then. More respected back then. You know, I can remember vividly times when America would come together to celebrate, you know, America's birthday, which is the 4th of July. And I remember waving that American flag as a little child. We had the little miniature flags. Everybody, there was miniature flags everywhere. And the colors red, white, and blue stood out so much back then. And on top of that, you know, you smelled that good barbecue smoke everywhere. So everybody was just, it was a time where everybody came together. Everybody came together, regardless of anything else that was going on the 4th of July. Everybody came together as one. And certainly, you know, race issues were still prevalent back then. You had a lot of racial discord going on back then. I'm not gonna sit here and be naive and say, you know, that people of color were not going through anything. There was still, you know, a lot of headaches, a lot of pains being experienced back then. But America knew when to come together, like the 4th of July. They knew when to come together. And you could put some of that to the side for just one day, You know, you got fireworks going off, you got barbecue smoke, you got everybody dressed in the red, white, and blue. You know, people going picnicking, people going fishing. And it was all about celebrating the best in each of us. And so for that one day, in some respect, you almost kind of forgot about color. And you forgot about, you know, the American dream. You know, I also remember back then when, you know, hard work was respected a lot more. People respected hard work. You know, myself, I began working at the age of 10 years old. And back then, you know, it was celebrated to work hard. It was celebrated to work hard. You know, you worked hard and you made sure your families were fed and your families were taken care of, your bills were paid. You know, and fast forward now, you know, it seems like the younger generation doesn't even like working, man. They want the money fast, and, you know, everybody wants to cut corners, and it's not like the old, you know, that old mindset of, you know, work hard and, you know, benefit from the fruits of your labor. It's not the same anymore. You know, years ago, I also remember, you know, families just seemed like they were much closer back then. Again, I was born in 1968, so I remember a time when families really meant something. They meant something, and You had more family reunions and family gatherings, and it was a time for really to celebrate love, really, to really just celebrate love. Family reunion was all over the place, not just for black people, but for white people, for Mexicans, for everybody. Family reunions were a time for people to come together, put everything to the side, and there was not a lot of bickering and all this other stuff with families, and not a lot of division. It was just a time for people to celebrate family love. And so I recall vividly me being from Fort Worth. My family, we would always have family reunions every now and then with my great grandmother's house, and we would all come together, and the kids would do their things and the grown folks would do their things, and you couldn't mix the two. The kids and the grown folks were not allowed to be entertained together, so to say. The grown folks had their way of being entertained with the music and the drinking and alcohol and whatever, and the kids had their things. Oftentimes back then we ate the watermelon and we played games, hopscotch, jump rope, you name it, but it was separated. The grown folks did their things and the young folks did their things. Fast forward today, man, I don't know if a lot of families even having family reunions right now, but it's sad. It's sad, how far we've come. Or I don't want to say how far we've come, how little we have progressed. Let's put it like that. But growing up, I also remember, when it comes to race, as a young child, I will be honest with you. I went to pretty diverse schools at a young age, and thankful to my father for that, because it taught me a lot about the other races. And it taught me that, we can all get along if we try. And so I went at a very young age to some very diverse schools. But then as I got older, things, reality started to hit, and you start to realize that people were more inclined to stick with their own, or the way the system was set up, you had no choice but to be with your own, because that's just the way the school system was set up. So as I got older, I began to go to more black schools, which certainly taught me a whole lot about who I was and who I thought I was. But it's something I don't regret any of that. I don't regret any of the things that I've learned, either growing up young in diverse schools or as I got older going to black schools. I don't regret any of that, because it molded the man I am today. And the man I am today is one who respects everyone, no matter what skin color you are. If you respect me, I respect you. But it was just a time back then, man, that just, I don't know, man. Things seemed much simpler. They seemed simpler. Even though times were tougher, things seemed simpler. As long as everybody stayed in their lane, everybody respected each other. Everybody, made sure we never forgot the important things, such as family and, being respectful with each other and taking care of each other. But nowadays, it's just, I don't know, man, there's so much division. People talk about the left, the right, the Democrat, the Republican. And I don't know, man, this is just not the America that I knew and loved for many years. This is not the same America. It's not the same America. I don't know what this is, One of the terms I like to use often is, and, certainly, for a man who became educated and started to really become aware of really where things stood, I started to call America like a failed experiment. America is not, it's only 250 years old coming this July, 250 years old. That's not a long time. It's not a long time. But as I will always say, a lot has been accomplished in that 250 years, But at the same time, with everything going on today, it makes you wonder, really, what did we accomplish in 250 years? Like, what did we really accomplish, But I'm a man of hope. I would never lose hope, because I remember, again, a time when things were simpler and, people got along and love was abundant. Family mattered, hard work mattered. And so I would never give up on America. It's just a different America for me. It's just a different America for me. A different America. But I hold on to those old values and the things that I learned, as a young age, the thing I learned early on, even about the presidency, about what the president stands for, what the president should not do. And the fact that, we as a country, we seemed like we were much closer back then. We were much closer. When I say closer, what I mean is that we were all understanding of each of our responsibility to make this work, to make it work. But now I'm more inclined to say it's a failed experiment. I'm not saying I'm losing hope for my country. Hell, I served this country for 22 years, Air Force. I served this country for 22 years. And I'll do it again if the need arises, as long as it's for the right reason. As long as it's for the right reason. Today, would I serve in the military? Probably not. Probably not. With what I know now, no, absolutely not. Because I think right now, some of the agendas are just so twisted, man. They're so twisted. I wouldn't even tell a young person to join the military right now. If I did, it would be for them to go in and try to learn something and get education and, educate themselves about the world to better themselves. But not so much for the country, because right now the country is pretty much bought and paid for by politicians and people with agendas and special interest groups and all that type of stuff, man. So would I tell a person to go in the military today? Absolutely not. No. And I can say that without hesitation. I love my country, but I love the people in my country more. And right now my country stands for, for big politics is what it stands for now, which is sad. It's sad because America, we have an opportunity to still be great. We do. America, and the people around the world still look at America as something special. But at the same time, people are starting to question what the hell is going on in America. Whether it be from the voting rights issues, whether it be from the gun violence, whether it be from politics, people are wondering what the hell is going on with America. And rightfully so, because from the outside looking in, I'm sure they see something very crazy going on in America. Because I can tell you, being in America, it feels crazy. It feels crazy. I'm currently in the Philippines right now. I was blessed with the ability to have another home in the Philippines, and so I've been here about 2 months now, and it's caused me to really take a hard look at America from afar, from a distance. And what I'm saying, man, I'm not happy with. I'm not happy with the direction of the youth in America, and it's not their fault. I want to make damn sure that I make that clear. It is not their fault. The youth they're only as good as the adults that made them. And I think adults failed our youth, American youth, for many years. And they still are failing our youth, They're not giving the youth the same values, those same wholesome values that we had when we were younger, man. They're giving the youth something else because a lot of adults are being, I hate to say it, but there's a lot of weak-minded adults that are being misled, man. They're being misled and they're misleading the children. And so, I still have hope for America, but it's just not the same America that I was raised in. It's not the same America that I knew back when I was 10 years old, when I had the American flag waving on 4th of July. You heard the fireworks popping and everybody's dressed in red, white, and blue. It's not the same America. It's not. And anybody that says it is, they're fooling themselves. I'm not here to knock my own country, but I'm here to knock my own country. Because sometimes, things need to be shook a little bit to be awakened, and I think America needs to be shaken to be awakened right now. A lot of people are saying that America is due for a civil war, which I hope and pray that doesn't happen. And honestly, I don't believe that will happen. But if it does, it will play right into, who we are as a country today, not yesterday, but today. We are a country probably that deserves a damn civil war because everything is so divided. People are so divided, the left, the right, the blue, the red, man. It's just black, white, up, down. It's just unbelievable, the division. It's so unbelievable and so unnecessary. It is so unnecessary because at the end of the day, the same color blood runs through all of our veins, man. The same color blood. But until we wake up one day and realize that, man, we're lost. We're lost. Like I said, a lot of countries are they're blowing past us in terms of technology, in terms of education, healthcare. A lot of countries make us look silly right now. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Because I know we're better than that. But right now, we're not showing it. We're not showing it to ourselves, and we're not showing it to the rest of the world. And so the world has a right to really look at America as like some crazed, deranged society right now, because that's what it is. It's a crazed, deranged society. Seriously. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that things will change in the future. I'm hopeful that people will start to realize that we're not doing our kids any justice. We're not doing our kids any good. We're failing our kids. I'm hopeful that people will realize that the sanctity of the family has been disturbed. When I say disturbed, I'm talking about families damn near don't exist in some respects in America right now. I talked about family reunions before. You look at the kids, you talk to the kids now about family reunions, man, a lot of them look at you like you're damn crazy. A family reunion? With all this division going on, that's the last thing they're thinking about is the family getting together, because everybody in the family is so divided. And it's sad. It's so sad. It's sad. Because I know we're better than that. I know we're better than that. But yeah, I thought I'd hop on here and give my 2 cents, man, for what it's worth, And that's from the heart. I'm speaking from the heart, This platform, I want this platform to be something honest. I want it to be something transparent. I want it to be something peaceful. I want it to be something loving. I want this platform to be just a way to just continue to uplift people. And the only way to do that is for me to be honest with myself. And like I said, out of all honesty, I don't recognize America right now. I do not recognize America right now. But I'm a hopeful man. I'm a hopeful man. And I hope that you are too if you are an American. And let's just get back to the old way. And at the end of the day, for me, it's about the children. It's about the children. Because, I'm a 57-year-old man. And so I got more years behind me than I have in front of me, And I'm just hopeful that we will wake up and understand that everything that's happening today is we're molding the future of our children right now. We're molding the future of our children. And so if we want our children to succeed, then we need to start doing the right things now, like now. Because time is of the essence. Time is short. Life is short. And, our children deserve to have a shot at an America that I'm all too familiar with. One where there's a young black kid in Texas with that American flag waving it. And you see the colors red, white, and blue. You see the barbecue smoke. And the national anthem sounds a bit different. It sounded different. And so I'm a hopeful man. And, let's just hope and pray that America turns around before it's too late. Real talk. Eric Brown, MOBO-Media. I'm out. Peace.